Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be doing part 1 of my coloring book collection from January 2021 through June 2021. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so this probably will be a long video. In this particular video, I will be featuring 15 different books in my collection. I'm calling this The Others because I couldn't think of anything else on how to categorize these. And this is a video series that I plan to do perhaps every 6 months because I rediscovered coloring back in January 2021. It is currently July 2021, and I thought, well, in 6-month increments, it would be interesting to see what I have, but also what I have colored. And so that will be what this series is about. At the end of the series, which will be sometime later in July, I will be also talking about my giveaway. Okay, so this is actually the second time I've filmed this. So I've taken some of the page flags out of this one, but that's okay. It should be easy enough to find. Now these two aren't necessarily others. These are the two that I keep at work. And so I wanted to film this video first so that I could take these back to work so that I can either color them before work or during my lunch break, because that's usually when I do that. So this is A Million Unicorns by Lulu Mayo, and I have completed 2 pages in here with a whip. And so I did this cover page here just with some Artezas, Prismas, and Crayolas, and I know that because that's the only color pencils I have at work. And then there is a little bit of mild liners in here. This is a whip, and I was actually supposed to finish this for Olga Rani's performance challenge for June. As you can see, I didn't. I actually even started over here, but that's okay. I can definitely finish this up in July. June, I was out sick for a little over a week, and then I was just playing catch up for the rest of the month. And so during my lunch breaks, if I wasn't editing a video, I was actually working. So yeah, this had to take a back seat. And then the other one that I completed was this one right here. And this was done with mild liners, Kuritakis, some Tombos, because I do have a few of those at work. And then the rest is pencil work. And again, it's the Artezas, Prismas, and Crayolas. Those are pencils that I used to have here at the house, but they're not my favorite. I like the Prismas, but I'm not a huge fan of the Artezas and the Crayolas. And so I might actually just donate them or give them away or something and take my 72 count of Brett Funners, because for me, it is very frustrating when I'm using pencils that I don't enjoy. I have issues with arthritis in my hands, and so I don't like to do a lot of layering or burnishing because they hurt. I write a lot, I journal a lot, I type a lot, and so I need to be very cognizant of the tools I use. And yeah, if they hurt me to use them, I don't know why I keep using them. So yeah, that was just a little random rant. But I keep this in here because that tells me everything that's on the page. And so that was A Million Unicorns by Lulu Mayo. And then in here, I've got several pages done. This is Mythographic Frozen Fantasies by Fabiana Attanasio. And so I did this page here, which is done in mostly Mondo Llamas, which is Target Brand's alcohol markers. And then there's a little bit of pencil work, and that would be either Artezas, Crayolas, or Prismas. I did this one here. This one I chose because of Danny Button's Scavenger Hunt number 4, which was her summer edition. And I did this, and it's the only one of the tag that I did, but this is not a page I normally would have done. So it's because of the tag that I did this page. This is done in all Mondo Llamas, and then this snowflakes are done in a yellow highlighter. Now for my bullet journal purposes, and I'll show you that at the end of the video, I am categorizing this as a whip. What I'm going to tell you guys right now, this isn't even a perpetual whip. This might be a tester page, but I specifically chose this page to test something on because I knew I would never color it. These moths are creepy to me, so I don't want to color this page, but I did try coloring with K's satin glazing liquid as a tester on this page, more so because I thought I was clever. And I thought, well, if I glaze the page, will that prevent my alcohol markers from bleeding? Not so much for this book because it's only one-sided, but for some of my other double-sided pages. And I can definitely tell you that it does. So this is the alcohol marker. The other one that I colored is right there, and you can see there is no bleed through. Now these are exactly the same marker. And you can see by way of pigment that it changes, but it also changes, obviously, the texture of the paper. And so why I love working with alcohol markers is because you can get really smooth laydown. Once you glaze the paper, that is not a thing, and it will eat up your alcohol marker. I actually don't recommend it for that. Now, coloring with Kay, never intended for that. For her, she uses this for liquid mediums, right? Like watercolors, Ganzais, Tombos. You can use your Crayolas, and it changes the texture, but also the composition of the paper, so that it actually flows a lot better. So yeah, this is a forever whip, only because I'm never going to work on it, although I guess I could use it as a tester page. This is probably one of my favorite pages, and it's not even so much for this down here, because that's like whatever, but I really like how this guy came out at the top there. I think he's really sweet. And as you can see, the black of it's probably the Mandalama, although it might be a Sharpie. I'm not getting a sense. I don't think it is, but there's some yellowing there, but that's not a problem for me. You can see it there, but I can color over it, so I don't care. Although it's still even here. So that's some pretty heavy damage right there. I completed this one right here, also done in Mandalamas. As you guys can see, I don't tend to do a lot of shading, and if I'm doing shading, it's just with other alcohol markers. I don't do a lot of pencil work on top of, because for me this is a very like graphic novel, comic book looking style, because it's very stark, it's very crisp. I'm not trying to make this look realistic. I mean, there's nothing realistic about this picture. And then the other page I have in here is the whip that I will be finishing in July. This goes for Olga Rani's monthly color along Strange Creatures, and I definitely think she's a strange creature. And then it also goes for my hashtag Joanna Lynn's Celebration 2021. That can be anything in a Joanna Basford book, anything in a Hannah Lynn wave artwork, and then anything celebratory. So she's celebrating that she's going to get her nails done, or that she got her nails done. And by the time I finish this, that'll definitely, hopefully, be seen. And I really enjoy these mythographic books. Now, for some of you, it might be strange, but I actually will lean towards this one when I'm at work than this one. That's why there's more pages done. Now, it does take a little bit longer, but one, I can use my alcohol markers, and two, I find these mythographic books quite relaxing. This is more on the cutesy side. It's more on the kid side, although it's kind of pricey for a kid coloring book. I wouldn't give this to like a 6-year-old, although you could. The artwork is definitely there, but to me, it's detailed enough that it caught my interest that I wanted it. But of the two books, yeah, I'm gonna always lean towards a mythographic. In fact, I should take another mythographic at work, but maybe once I've gotten halfway through this, then I'll have another there just as an option. But those are my two work-related coloring books. Okay, this is A Million Sloths, also by Lulu Mayo. I did complete one page in here. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, I'll find out during editing, but I have 15 books in this first video, and of the 15 books, I have done at least one page out of all of them. As we progress through the collection that I have, there are some that there are nothing colored, not even a whip, but that's more than likely because I've only received it in the last few weeks. I have this thing where when I get a new coloring book, I want to color at least one page. I'm not collecting coloring books as much as I'm collecting coloring books to color in. And so, yeah, I don't like to leave it empty for too long, but you know, time is also an issue for me. So I try to get to as many as I can throughout the month. But this is A Million Sloths by Lulu Mayo. Now, of the three that I have, the unicorns one that I keep at work and the sloths one, it's a hard word to say, are not really my favorite. I mean, I'm kind of meh about them. I like sloths in the idea, but I don't know that I like coloring them. But it was one of those, I could actually go to a store and have it immediately. And so, yeah, I got it. Now, of the Million Animal series, this is probably my favorite, but again, with all of the other coloring books that I have in my arsenal, it's not one that I really gravitate towards. And that's kind of the overriding theme of the ones that I'm showing you in this first series. I like them, I will be keeping them, and I will be coloring in them, but of late, they're usually because they're for something specific, like Ogla Rani's monthly or weekly challenge, or for some particular hashtag that I want to participate in, but they're not my go-tos if I'm just trying to unwind and de-stress. But in this one, I completed 2. And so I completed this one again for Ogla Rani's monthly challenge for June, which was performance. And then I did this one back in May. This was also done in that satin glazing medium, and this was done in Albrecht Dürer pencils. Now, that was the first time I had tested out some of the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils from Faber-Castell, and also the satin glazing medium. I definitely think I could have done this better, but I mean, overall, I think the picture is cute. The birds are kind of janky, but yeah, this picture is not about the birds, so I don't care. But yeah, for of the 3 that I have, I think this is probably my favorite of them. I think the cats one is pretty cute too, but I have no desire to add to my collection. They're cute images, but if I'm not going to gravitate towards them and I only have a certain amount of time to color, then yeah, there's no point in getting the rest of them. For some, I am a completist. My Erie books and my Opal books are the only 2 artists that I want to complete the series. Otherwise, I don't feel the need for that for any other artist. Even if I enjoy their works, I just don't have the space for it. But that's A Million Cute Animals by Lulu Mayo. This is Color by Color, Stained Glass Mandala by Kira Shershniva. I do have quite a few in here, and we'll actually start from the back. And so this is all done either in Crayolas, which this one was, or alcohol markers. Some of the more recent ones are done. And I thought I would get this book because it seemed interesting in the concept. You just match up the colors, there's no numbers on the page. And I know people really enjoy mandalas. I have to say I'm not one of them. And to be honest, I don't know why I don't gravitate towards mandalas. Maybe it's the repetition. I don't know exactly what it is. I will finish this book because I have it, but it really reinforced the fact that I'm not a mandala kind of person. So some of these are interesting. Like this is interesting to me because it's not fully repetitive. You've got this little change in here. And a lot of the ones that you'll see, I've actually altered it slightly because I like the white space. In fact, I like the white space better than doing a full-in coloring. Now this one makes sense, but this I think would have been a lot more interesting had I chosen to keep one of the colors out. And I know that I can do that. It's just, yeah, sometimes I think I'll leave it in. Sometimes I think I'll take it out. In this case, I decided to just leave it out, and I think it looks interesting. And this is the last one I'm going to show you. I do have one in here that I completed, but it is a buddy color with Crafting with Christy, and I haven't shown it to her yet. And so I'll just leave that to show you guys in my completed pages. But I did complete 6 pages out of here, and this is Color by Colors Stained Glass Mandala. This one I probably would like to complete by the end of the year, just so that it's out of my arsenal. But again, it's not one of the ones that I gravitate towards. So it's actually good that I'm doing a buddy color with Christy, and maybe we can do some more so that I can just finish this book, because again, it's not one of the genres that I gravitate towards. This one here is a new acquisition. This is Big Little World by Radu Frazee. I do have 1 page completed in here. I'm not sure how I feel about this book. I love the images. It's like a nice little town, but without a very detailed background, and there's no mice in here. But the paper is not good. It really isn't. Now, this actually, and I don't know if you can tell, but I drew all of that in. So this is going to be the next page that I'm doing. I'm not considering this a whip because there's no color on the page, but I'd like to test this out with just pencils. And then I would like to test another one out with maybe my Inktense. Yeah, the paper isn't, I mean, it's probably of my CreateSpace coloring books, it's probably the very worst that I've seen. But I think these images are just too cute. So I'll give it one more try and then we'll go from there. But that's Big Little World by Radu Frazee. This is a Nice Little Town. I want to say this is by, she goes by both Tanya and Tatiana Bogema Stalova. This is the original one. I purchased this back in January, and I've done 1 in here. I'm not a super fan of the results. I was trying to go for something, but I didn't know how to execute it. I wanted it to look like the bottom stair shop was dark, and so I tried different mediums, and eventually I think I just used Tombow on here, but I wanted the lights to look like they were on, and I don't think I accomplished that. But again, it was very new in my coloring journey, and I think I would know how to do it a little bit better. I'm not ever going for realism. I really need this to unwind and de-stress, but I think I would have been a little bit happier with it. I don't hate it. I don't actually hate any of my coloring pages. It's just what I wanted and what I got aren't necessarily the same thing. I do like the brickwork, and I do like the cat at the top. Now this is a cute little book. I don't gravitate towards this a lot. This is on that CreateSpace paper, but it's fine. But yeah, it's not anything that, unless I'm doing a challenge, that I ever even look into. But I like it, and I like that it's small, and so I will be keeping it in my arsenal. The next book is Thomas Kincaid Studios Disney Princess Coloring Book. And yeah, this is one that I'm going to keep for the artwork, but I don't know that I'm going to color in this again. This is one of those cases where I like it and I don't. So this is the only completed page that I have in this book, and I think the results are okay. They're not this. And I know that there are people out there who can create this. I'm not one of them. I certainly don't want to put the time and the effort in it, but it frustrates me. It frustrates me because you would think that if you've got an image here, this makes it really straightforward to color. Well, it doesn't, because when they're taking and lifting a picture like this and digitizing the line art for it, to me, if there's a line art here, then there should be a corresponding thing over here. like here. I think there's like a turtle or something in there. But this looks all like rocks or lily pads. And for me, my brain just does not work. If you're going to have something here, but it's not there, or vice versa, then it frustrates me. It just frustrates me to no end. Now I do have 2 whips in here, and they're probably going to be perpetual whips. Now I liked the direction that this one is going, but it took a lot of effort to get to that point. And my hands hurt, and I'm going to mention that throughout these video series because I can't color for more than an hour or 2 on any given day before my hands either go numb, my elbow is sore, my shoulder wants to cry, or just my entire right side is in pain. And so to me, it doesn't make sense to spend time on works and books that don't bring me any kind of relaxation or joy because I'm trying to recreate something that I just can't. And it definitely could be user error. It could be the tools that I'm using. But yeah, this isn't really anything that I'm going to be coming back to. I don't want to toss it because I do like looking at the pictures, well, at least that side of it. But it's not something that sparks joy, and I'm not going to waste my time on it. I know you don't really hear that a lot, but yeah, I only have so much time, so I'm not going to waste it on books that aren't going to help me for what I need them to help me for. And so this is Thomas Kincaid's Disney Princess coloring book. This is the Nia McArdle's Woodland Mandalas. This is another book that I really do not gravitate towards. I thought it would be okay. Like I said earlier, I don't really tend to go for mandalas, but some of the images are actually kind of cute, and they're not like full-on symmetrical. I mean, I guess they are, but they're just, I don't know, they're more interesting than mandalas usually are. I've done 2 pictures in here, and more than likely, I'm just going to unhaul this, and I'm going to give it away to a coworker or take it to work. And if there's ever kids that visit, I'll let them color in this because it's not the fault of the artwork. It's just, it is not something that I gravitate towards. Now, I think this looks nice, except I jacked up the deer or whatever this thing is. But unless I were doing a challenge, I don't even look in here. The paper's nice. The images are cute. I've seen some really, really beautiful renditions of this. But again, I would rather choose a Kirby book or a Coloring Heaven book, any of my Erie books, mythographic books, over this. So it's really low on the totem pole of priorities. And so I'm not going to keep it where I have limited space if I'm not even going to reach for it. Now, the giveaway that I'm going to be doing at the end of the series, so whenever that is, will be books that have not been touched. I won't be giving away anything that I've worked in. To me, that just seems weird. But yeah, this is Woodland Mandalas, a coloring book by Nia McArdle. This is a Journey to the Secret Library, and there is no author, but this is by Adventure Coloring Books. They do have these other 2 series. They may actually have one more since here. I like this book, so it's one that I'm keeping, but it's not one that I reach for often, but I reach for it often enough that it seems worthwhile to keep it, at least for now. This is the first completed page that I have in here. This is one of those, I didn't look at it first, and I didn't realize there was another of that page. Now, this is not a book of duplicates, so I don't know why they have that, but it's the exact same artwork. The only thing that's different is this middle bit right here, but that's fine. And then I did do this page right here, and I do like how that came out. I didn't write down what I used here, but I did finish this in February. And then the only other page I've completed is this one right here. And I really like this one. I like how the black background makes this pop. This was actually rather quick coloring. I don't tend to do a lot of burnishing, layering, or blending, again, because my hands hurt. And so I like it when the white of the page peeks through. I don't generally concern myself with light source. I just do what I want until it looks pretty, and then I'm done with it. I don't get too fussy or precious about these things. For me, it's just a way to distress. It's just a coloring book. I don't consider myself a colorist. I'm definitely more of a hobbyist, and this is one of my creative hobbies. And so this is Journey to the Secret Library by Adventure Coloring Books. Now this is Tortured Tales by Heidi Hornsby. Now I really like this coloring book and I need to reach for it more, but this is, she's got both a YouTube channel here as well as she did this line art. You can purchase it on Amazon, and I like it that it is fairy tales but done in a different way. So this is Little Red Riding Hood. I really like how this came out. I forgot to put a blotter page, but that's definitely fixable. But this is Snow White. And then she just goes through a variety of different fairy tales. Oh, this is Jack and Jill. Went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after with a broken knee. I don't think that last line was in the story, but yeah, that's what this story is. And then the other one that I did was the very last one, and this one right here. And because the art is just so irreverent, I don't feel the need to make this look super on mark with the stories. Like this is Goldilocks, but Goldilocks might be purple. She might be pink. She might be green because it's so fanciful anyway. I don't feel the need to be super realistic in the coloring. But yeah, this is Heidi Hornsby's Tortured Tales. This is Women's World Color by Colors by Kira Shershniva. This I purchased at the same time as that stained glass mandala. She's come out with a lot more and they're super cute. I don't gravitate towards these, so I'm not going to pick any of those up, but I did complete quite a few in here. And so there's this one here. Now, I think I've heard that in later printings of this book, it does actually say where these ladies are from. This one was right when it first came out, so it doesn't, and that's the only downside I see of this coloring book. But yeah, it is some really interesting artwork. And I completed this one here. This one I completed for one of Olga Rani's Find and Color challenges. It was for sunflowers. This one was a buddy color with my butter Emma from Emma Colors 2020. And then this is the final one that I did in here. Now, I generally prefer, and when I say that, I've only got 2 books like this to work from back to front, but sometimes I just need to pick a page because that's what I'm feeling like. But yeah, that's Color by Colors, Women's World. I definitely will be finishing this, but like I said, I don't foresee purchasing any more of these Color by Colors. This is Nice Little Town Interiors by Tatiana Bogema-Stalova. I did complete 2 pages in here. Actually really like this one, so this is definitely going to stay in my arsenal, and so I did this one here. There is some mild liner and Tombow on the page, and then there's some pencil work. This one I really like though. Of the 2, this is my favorite, and this is done all in either Tombows or mild liners. I thought I would base in marker and then go back and do in some pencil shading, but I like how crisp this looks. Now these are never colors I would actually gravitate towards in real life, and I think that's one of the biggest benefits of coloring books is you can go out of your own comfort zone or what you would have in your own home or whatever. And this was definitely a limited color palette. I think there's only 5 colors on the page. And I think that just looks so dynamic. It's so pretty to me. But the artwork in here is really nice. And I do find myself flipping through this every once and again, especially if I'm looking for something for one of Olga's challenges. Because, you know, there's so many things on the page, maybe I can find something that works towards that. But that is Nice Little Town Interiors by Tatiana Bogema Stalova. This is another Nice Little Town 7, also by Tatiana Bogema Stalova. Now, I was surprised, but I only have one picture completed in here, but this is also another one that I really enjoy. In fact, I think I like these two better than the very first one, although I do like the size better of the very first one. And so this is the page that I did in here. And this was some basing of Tombow or Crayola super tips, but then mostly just pencil work. But the artwork in here to me is just really cute. And because it's one-sided, if I wanted to, I could actually come in here with alcohol markers, and I think that would make it really fun. But this is definitely something I'm going to keep in my arsenal. And again, I do flip through this rather often, especially if I'm looking for something to fulfill one of Olga's challenges. And sometimes they are quite the challenge. So Nice Little Town 7 by Tatiana Bogema Stalova. And the last one in this Others series is Wondrous Woman by Sassy Coloring. That's Saska Cook. There's also a Sassy Coloring here on YouTube that doesn't have the U. I'll link both the channels below. And I actually completed quite a few pages in here. This was for Olga Rani's performance challenge for June 2021. This one, I had just gotten my Ohuhu skin tones, and so I was testing the various skin tones. So this entire page is done with those skin tones. There's no other color on this page, and I actually think it still looks cute. Plus, if I'm coloring in here, I can refer back to here. So this is sort of like my swatch page, because I don't swatch my pens or my pencils. I don't feel the need for that. I did this one here. I do like to keep the backgrounds typically very neutral so that the girl pops up. This does give me a chance to work on skin tones. I'm not the greatest at it. I'm not the greatest at hair, but these are really just straightforward, simple coloring. And so, yeah, I enjoy it. I did see, oh goodness, who was it? I just saw it recently where someone had her fairy tales coloring book, and I might get into that one, but I won't buy any more of her artwork until I'm done at least halfway through this. This is actually a really chunky book. You do get doubles, and there's already 40 pages of original art, and so yeah, I want to finish more of it before I go into another one. Yeah, so that's the last one we showed. This one I completed for Olga Rani's challenge for this week. So I don't know if she's even opened up the email, but the challenge was mirrors. And so she's a beautician that works in a salon. And so I used some of my Gansai Tombi, is that the name of it? Silver there, and then I just colored her really simply, and then the background again I like to recede, and so that is a completed page that you'll see again in my July completed pages. And then this was the very first one that I did, and this was back in April, and then this is where I've marked it where the doubles begin. But it's a really cute book. It's not necessarily a quick color because it can be quite detailed, but I do enjoy the pages that I've worked on. And again, for Olga's challenges, I like that there's a variety of things that if I need to look for a specific element, I might be able to find it in here. So that's the last coloring book. Let me show you my collections journal. Okay, so I'm sorry if there's any glare on here, but this is a Maisie Lane Co. bullet journal done in an A5 size. I did put a plastic Midori cover on it, and she does personalize the journals for you if you want. And so this is where I am storing my long-term reference collections, and so things that I want to keep over a long period of time that doesn't specifically go into either my daily journal or in my bullet journal ideas, I keep in here. And so what I mean by that is any of the books that I've read from January on, any books that I've reread from January 2021 on, because that's when I started this. Movies that I've seen, I do need to update this. I think I've seen a couple more movies. And shows or television shows that I've seen. When I first started this, I only thought at the time, naive Johanna back in January 2021, that there's no way that I'm going to have more than 20 coloring books. Yeah, I do have a wish list, and the only thing that's on my wish list right now is Forest Girls #2 from Opal, and I'm probably going to get that for myself for my birthday, which is this month. But everything else, World of Wonder and Romantic Country, I've gotten. I've already pre-ordered the new mythographic that's coming out, I think in August. I think there's another one coming out January of next year, and so I'm going to pre-order that. I don't have a wish list for Amazon on my page because I've got limited space issues, and so I definitely want to be more aware of what I'm purchasing. So if you do see hauls, that means I've either decluttered something else, which I need to do, or I've gotten rid of stuff because there's only a certain amount of space. Here's the rest of the inventory, and that's actually not all. I think I might have to put all of this in an Excel sheet so I can sort by author, because this is really hard for me to keep track of because they're not in this order on the shelf. So yeah, I will need to update this because I think I'm actually close to 60 books now, maybe even over 60 books, and this keeps me at 48. But what I'm tracking in here is, this is my stats. Now, when Danny Buttons did this in her collection videos, she had the number of pages in each book, the number of completed pages, and the number of whips. Well, not every single book tells me how many pages are in there, and I am not about to count pages. So the way I'm doing it is, I completed, and my number is off because I did have that whip. So let's change that. So in that first mythographic, I had 4 pages done and 2 whips. And so that changes. Of the 15 books, I have 39 pages done and 5 whips. But of the 5 whips, 3 of them are perpetuals. I'm not going to do them, so they will continue to be whips. And the reason I did it this way is, in December of 2021, January 2022, if I still have these books, I can pull them off my shelf. If I finish them or unhauled them, then I can make a note of that, but at least I'm comparing like to like. And so all of my various collections, I'll be doing that, and then I take that number and then I move it here. So that's 39 and 5. Now, I don't track numbers on a monthly basis, so I have no idea how many completed pages I have. It's not important to me. From a statistical standpoint, it would be better if I knew how many pages were uncolored, but again, I'm not about that life. So I do like knowing that in that segment of books, I've done nearly 40 pages. Makes me feel productive, makes me feel accomplished. All right, so that is number 1 in my coloring book collection video. The next one I think will be my Coloring Heaven books and some others in those genres, so be on the lookout for that. I'd love to know what you guys think, and as always, aloha.